Hello to everyone. Welcome to the last and the fourth Connect and Learn. The session is organized by Educate. And during the Connect and Learn sessions, we invite members of Educate to share best practices and lessons learned on topics that can be interested for our members. Before I give the floor to our speakers, I will tell you a little bit more about Educate. Educate is the Belgian platform for education and development. My name is Marije van Breda, and I'm the Educate coordinator, and I'm your host today. One of the goals of Educate is to increase the knowledge by sharing international expertise and good practices with the platform members. The session of today has been organized by EdukoMondo and the Surin Rajabhat University in Thailand. We have two speakers today, and I will introduce you to them later on. Before starting the session, I will explain you some technical issues. So we have a possibility to ask questions via the chat box. After the two presentations, we will take the time to answer your questions. Although the session is in English, you can ask your questions in French and Dutch if necessary, and we will translate them for our speaker. I also want to highlight that the session will be recorded and that the presentation and recording will be published on our website, educate.be. So, let me start to introduce our two speakers. The first speaker is Peter Stremus. Peter Stremus is the founder of EdukoMondo. EdukoMondo, an organization, exists since 2019. And Educate is also the lead of the project group Digitization for Education within Educate and member of our steering committee. Peter has founded EdukoMondo in 2019, and he's focused on how technology can help to bridge the widening gap between people who have access to education and to those who don't. Today, our session, we are talking about artificial intelligence. The second speaker is Dr. Choojit from the Surin Rajabhat University in Thailand. Her areas of expertise include physics education, STEAM education, and 3D virtual labs. So, Peter, I give you the floor. You can start your presentation.
Thank you very much, Marije. I will start sharing my presentation. Thumbs up if everybody sees it. Yep, okay, good. Then we can start. So welcome from me also from my side. And as Marije said, the topic of today is actually sharing with you our experience of using artificial intelligence tools in order to translate video content. And video content is important because it's related to our project, which focuses on bringing STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math content, more specifically teacher training, to rural areas. So that's a little bit framing the topic of today. So the goal that we had with this project, which spans around or over a year, was to provide a structured program to build the techno-pedagogical skills of teachers in rural areas who typically have a very limited access to resources. Resources can be internet access or even electricity access. The second thing is that we have seen, and I refer to the latest GEM report from UNESCO, where they stated that 92% of the available content, educational content from the open library is in English. Now, we have to face the fact that not everybody has sufficient English proficiency in order to understand all of that information. So it is a huge amount of information, but the biggest majority is in English. So we are leaving many people behind. And that is where we came up with the idea, well, with the current state of the technology, specifically artificial intelligence, what can we do to include those teachers and eventually also students who do not have that proficiency, but maybe also have other impairments, like, for instance, hearing or visual impairments, and try to address that as one challenge, which I think we have been creating, and we have been developing our experience on that. So let us focus on really the local language translation as the main means to lower the barrier towards information. So today we're going to look at 4 different areas, but specifically at the artificial intelligence assisted translation, dubbing, and subtitles. But this just to show you that it is part of a larger endeavor, of a larger project that starts with creating English master videos focused on STEAM. And in 2023 and also next year, we are actually going to focus on 3 main areas, which is Arduino, microcontrollers based on the programming language C++. We will also focus on MicroPython running on Raspberry, which is also a microcontroller. And then once people have sufficient skills, we will go to the last step, which is how everything comes together, and it's about robotics. Now, then we have the translation of the videos, and so I'm really focusing on video content because we believe that is the way to actually address this type of content. It's not through written books and so on, but it's really by showing videos of around anything between 15 and 30 minutes. Now, of course, the artificial intelligence can do a lot, but not everything. And that is why, because we're also dealing with educational material, we wanted to include a check and correct by a native speaker who does not only masters the language, but also the typical jargon of STEAM, which of course brings it to organization like the one from Dr. Chu. And then the last one is when we've got all of that and we haven't translated videos, how do we get them to the actual audience? And this is either on YouTube, but if there is no internet connection, there's not a lot of things you can do with YouTube. So we also offered the opportunity to actually get it in a physical format on micro SD cards. So that's a little bit the overarching overview. Now, let me go more into details on the AA, artificial intelligence assisted translation. So for those on the phone or on this conference who believe that artificial intelligence is like a very nice black box, and on one hand you throw in your video, and on the other hand you have a perfectly matched video, well, I'm afraid that you will have to reconsider that viewpoint. There are quite some steps that you need to take. Now, of course, I've broken it down really in all the different steps that are linked to each other. And as you can see, as you can observe, the majority, and that's the strength of the system, is that the majority really happens in one and the same environment. So you don't really have to go from different environments or Word documents or video formats sending to each other. It's all in one environment. And for our project, after selecting through a number of potential platforms, we have chosen Simon Says. And the main reason was that Simon Says has been developed since a couple of years by people who come from the video world. Many others that are available come from more of the translation, the translation of texts. While Simon Says, you can see the way that it is structured. The video is central. It's a lot about timestamps. It's a lot about links towards post-production and so on. So that's the main reason that we have chosen Simon Says. In addition, also, they offer at that time, so which is a year ago, some might argue that in our current age, that's already a long time ago, they were the ones offering the highest level the highest choice of languages. So it all starts, and I'm going very quickly through this this overview because I also want to show it how it actually looks in the tool. But you start by your created video, you upload it into the Simon Says environment, where the first thing that it does, it translates it into, it's not translates it, it transcribes it into English, into an English text. And that transcription needs to be corrected. There, the good news is that my experience is that the accuracy of the tool is 95% and probably even higher. It's quite it's actually closer to 98, which I think is very good, taking into account that we are talking about technical content. We're talking about a typical microcontroller jargon. We're also talking about the typical C++ jargon, which is coding. So it's not the easiest to translate, yet the transcription is very accurate. So we don't lose a lot of time with that. Once you have a corrected English master, we go to the translation phase, and this is where we have the choice of more than 100 languages. The 100, you have to take it with a little pinch of salt, because Spanish alone have like all different flavors of Spanish, Latin American Spanish, and it's all considered as a separate language. So I think in practice, you probably have around 75 maybe languages, which I think is still quite good. So you do the translation. Again, this is done in literally in minutes. So you can also in one go run maybe 20 languages. We do it step by step, one language at a time, because we have different people that we want to share it with. But if you want to, you could actually in one go, and literally in minutes, you will have different translations. Now, the translation, of course, needs to be corrected. It's not 100% correct. So we want to share it, and we share it in that same tool with a corrector, a local corrector. And in the tool, the person goes into the tool, logs into the tool, and can correct it on that very same file by adding not only the correction in the file, but also some comments and also the approval. Once it is approved, then it goes to a text-to-speech, because then we have the dubbing phase. Not all of the languages are ready to be dubbed. And so sometimes you also have to go with the English master and with subtitles. Now, if you are in the dubbing, you can have different voices, different accents in the different languages. Now, of course, the best thing is always to send it back again for a final control. The reason is that we sometimes have anomalies in speed changes, because the system does not always fully grasp time codes within the new language. But that's one of the, I would say, the bad things that I will come a little bit later. So you have to be vigilant that you might still have to do a little bit of tweaking here. Sometimes you don't, like for instance, when you have the French version, it's once you have a good French basic text, the dubbing and the subtitling is done quite automatically. So it's done quite well. But more complex languages like Thai or Bengali or Hindi creates some additional challenges. Now, once you have the subtitles, I always recommend to do some post-editing, which is not done in the tool. So it's only at this stage that you go into the post-editing, for which we are using not Simon Says, but the DaVinci Resolve, which is quite a complex but very complete open source and free to use video editing software. Once that is then completed, you can send it to YouTube for final publishing, or you can copy it on a micro SD card, or you can even use any iCloud storage. So that's a little bit the step-by-step workflow and how we work together with our partners to get those different elements done. Let me quickly go to another view and stop sharing this view and go to the Simon Says environment. Okay, so this is the Simon Says environment. It's not the immediate screen that you will get as a new user, because of course you have to create your login credentials and so on. But this is where you will see all of the translations in one view. And as you can see, in this year, we already did 120 videos in different languages, different tests and so on. And as you can see in Khmer, in French, in Thai, in Bengali, we've been doing quite a number of our first STEAM lessons. And so the first 21 lessons for the teachers have been completed. So what happens, and I'm just going to use one of the English master videos. So this is the last one, lesson number 20. So what you can see here is that it actually transcribes. So this is the transcription that you will get literally in seconds once you upload your video. The video upload, in my case, it's always something like 1 gigabyte. So the speed depends on your internet speed, of course. There is practically no limit. The limit is 20 gigabyte. Now, 20 gigabyte, normally it's like a 10-hour video. I don't think there are that many 10-hour videos available in the educational area. And I would not recommend it to do it that long. But this is then the text, the transcription that you can just, in this environment, you just make the changes. And you can actually even have, if there are certain acronyms or certain words that the system continuously wrongly interprets, you can actually create a custom-made dictionary. So, which is quite interesting for very specialized languages. So once you've got that, you can go here to the different languages. So this is the translate button, and then you can see it starts to ask you which language do you want. The last one that I used was Lao, just as a test with Dr. Chu, just to see how that was going. But as you can see, you got all the languages. I'm just quickly scrolling through them. And so you just need to click one of them. If you want Korean, for instance, you just click on that one. And then it's going to create the translation. The pricing, and I'll come to that in a minute, is done by the minute. So it's not how many pages or something like that. It's really the time frame that you need in your videos. So once you've got the translation, so I'll quickly go to a translated version, for instance, here, because we will be looking at the Thai translation. So I'm just going to take the Thai one, just maybe this one, which is one. So this is then the translation that you see. And this is the translation that I then will share with, as you can see here, I will share it with Dr. Chu, with some of her staff, in order to make the differences and to make the changes. An interesting thing is that you can see here, there is always a versioning. So that's very important, of course, that you can always go back to the previous version if something has gone wrong, or if people don't know what the latest version is. This is where you can always see the latest version, and you can revert to a previous one. So there are many features, of course. So I'm just going to show you here. You can export it as a Word document, which is then, of course, a good basis to have a PDF, which you can share with people. This is the subtitling, all different types of subtitles. There are direct links to, for instance, Adobe Premiere to do post-editing. This is Fusion that you can use, and so on and so forth. I'm not going into all of the details, There's a lot of help in the system also. And then you just click on let's do it, and whatever your choice was has been or will be done. So as you can see, everything happens in that same environment, and it's very easy to do the communication between you who created the video and the people who are actually correcting the videos. So let me go back to the presentation, and let's go into a bit of a deeper view on the pricing. See if it works. Yeah. So I made a very quick and a little bit of a rough comparison between the traditional pricing model and the new pricing model based on artificial intelligence. So on the left side, you see typically for a 20-minute video, you would need a translator, and I've used the average pricing on freelance.com, which is like $20 a page. So it will cost you $100. If you want the dubbing, you will need a professional voiceover. Also here I used some average prices from the website voices.com, which will very quickly take you to a high price because it's somebody who has to go to a studio, it's somebody who has to create time and so on and so forth. You need the necessary equipment, and then also creating of subtitles, which happens in the AI environment for free. It's also something that normally a certain price is charged. So very quickly, just for that particular area, you are at $740. Add to that some post-production for a couple of hours, 2 hours is on average what you can expect. And I've taken a very, very low hourly rate. I don't think in Europe you will get anybody to do that because it's quite specialized work. So, but still, I mean, if you go to Freelancer, you might find somebody who does it on for $40. If you compare that with the artificial intelligence, you're not talking about pages. You just look at the total length of your video, 20 minutes. The corrections, I've taken 1 hour. And then all the rest, as you can see, it's very, very cost efficient to do. So it's actually almost a comparison 1 to 10 if you take it very broadly, which is of course bringing me to the good of this system is that okay, you are of course expanding your reach incredibly, and it's in the end of the day at the fingertip of every organization. However, because there is a complexity still involved, you need some qualified people, or you have to forge some partnerships with organizations who can help you with that. I think the biggest good is the efficiency. The speed is in minutes, while otherwise it would be days, hours, days before things are being done. It can be done literally from your desk. And of course, the price is the big saving. Very positive is also that you can work with a corrector, so a local corrector, which increases your partnerships and your involvement with local people and local organizations. What's not so good is that the technology is good, but it's not perfect. Dr. Ju will share her experiences with the Thai variation of the Thai translation, so I'm not going to go too much in details. But what I have seen is that there is quite some variation in the quality depending on the language. For instance, French is very good. However, if I talk to the people we work with for the Bengali language, it's almost unusable. That's what they tell me. So there is a big difference in the languages that you have to experience. The other thing which is not unimportant is that the video AI translation market is still a niche market. There are quite a number of small players, but because they are small, it is also a certain danger that there is limited support. they may not survive, or they will be part of a merger and acquisition. So that's of course one of the things that today they work. That's also the reason why we've taken Simon Says, because they've been in the market for about a decade now. So they started really very small and very early at the beginning of the AI wave. So they've been in the market for a while and have a good client base. And then, of course, the bad is that translators and voice actors may become obsolete soon. And so that's typically, I would say, jobs that might be affected by artificial intelligence. Now, the magnificent is that the technology is evolving and improving by the day. Today, we see that more focus is on tone and emotion in the spoken language. It is also more inclusive because you have different language flavors, different voices, male, female voices that you can have, or a mix of people in dialogue with each other. Just like a lot of things with artificial intelligence, some jobs will be affected, but others will be created. And the role of the local corrector is something that I can see as a new opportunity in different countries to do that. And then, of course, what you see is in the future, I can envisage that in maybe 5 years' time, that you can actually, by using some prompts, that educational videos and translations and subtitles and dubbing and so on can be created in one go using future artificial intelligence development. I mean, it's not that far away that will be possible, which of course opens up a completely new world. I'm not going to go through all the cases, but as you can see, we've done quite some partnerships and working together for the French translations with GitHub, who is active in Burundi, where we are actually using the videos to focus on women, young teachers who use it as their continuous professional development. Working with Cambodia, the TDSO, the Teacher Development Support Organization, using the content in their English teaching program. Working with another member of Educate, the Education International Belgium, active in Bangladesh, with the Bengali translation. In India with SteamCube, and of course, last but certainly not least, with the Surin University in Thailand. And that university is represented by Dr. Choojit, and I'm happy to give the floor to her, because you can believe me, but she has willingly and quite nicely agreed to share her experience with the Thai translation. So I will stop sharing, and Dr. Chu, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. In Thailand, from Thailand. Hello, Ronnie. I saw you here too. So if you have any to share, just share. So we want to share education in Thailand. Okay, let me share my screen. I think here. Okay. Okay. Just stop share. Bit. What happened? Okay. Do you see my screen? Okay.
We see your presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We start. Actually, we work with Peter. I think we work in like maybe about half of year already. So because he have the interesting lesson about a STEAM lesson about project coding project. So and I work with Ronnie too. It's from Fun Isan. We try to close technology gap in Thailand. So because there's a lot of poor schools, we network with us. Fun Isan help us to donate some a computer to school. So I will talk that later. So it's experience about use AI translate in Thai. So today I will talk about framing of AI translation in our project and why we use for local languages. Overall quality of translation in Thai and time spent to correct the translation and key learnings and recommendation. So, and if you see this, then this one is like from the art school. So very poor. We have lab like this. Some is not be able to use, and teacher don't know how to use too. So we think about that how we will get rid of this and make them the students they have the active learning and meaningful learning with technology too. So, and this one is like, where is Surin? So Surin is northeastern Thailand. So if you see in west, it's going to be Buriram. I don't know somebody know or not. And in east is Srisaket, and down south you can see the Cambodia. We next to Cambodia. So if you see the Surin map, you can see, let me see, you can see here. So Surin is here, Bangkok, BKK. So it's beautiful beach here. So you want to come to Surin, you fly Bumburam and come to Surin here and Cambodia here. If you want to go to Cambodia, come to Surin, we go Cambodia. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. So we use AI for our project is by offering them 18-hour STEM coding class, original design, and we teach in English. And when we use when Peter shared how he translates to be Thai, right? And sometimes when I look at that, it means something, or sometimes too good. You know what too good? It's like new generation we not speak like that. So it's all like old word. You know, so some kind of old people know that word, but it's new generation. We don't really talk like that. So we need to correct that because it's under middle, right? And then they say sometimes we don't use Thai word. Actually, in Thai book maybe have, but they say some now it's a new generation they use English sometimes. You know, so we need to correct that. You know, sometimes I use ChatGPT to help that too because it's some meeting. Sometimes it's my head. It's a bank. I say, what is that? It's a you know, so because it's better translate to be Thai, but sometimes it's Thai. I forget about that. What the Thai meaning too. So, so it's funny thing that they say because it's a AI translate to I mean like kind of old you know, so own word, something like that is like when we don't really use that, we forget that. So, and then after we translate the lesson that Peter sent that to me. And so we need confirming and correcting by native speaker, by me. I correct that and confirm that it's right or not. And after that, I have to share with my co-worker in Thai too, to see that it means something because we have to make sure if we do Thai spoke and if it don't miss anything. So, and why is we is like why is it important to use AI translate to be Thai or local language? Because it's a you know and very important because it's a lot of Thai people they don't know English, you know, so it's I think that will be good to them to learn like it. It might not perfect, but they can learn some new technology, you know, so from the AI translate to them, you know, so in Thai. So even it's not perfect Thai, but they understand, like, you know, so 80%, 90%, that's very good. Translation into Thai or any local language serve to unlock previously unreachable information, because it's a lot of Thai people don't know English, so even Thai teacher, even sometimes English teacher might not speak English well. So that's why I think will be help. So enable the transfer the ideas, concepts, and procedure that were once foreign, and so the thing is a kind of barrier for language, so that's, I think that's very important. So the overall quality of use AI to translate to be Thai, I can say 80 to 80% we can rate. Understand when I listen, or let's say when I read, I understand, but sometimes it's say too good, sometimes it's not, people not speak like that, so I need to change to be easy to understand for the new generation. So yeah, grammar is really good. So but it's like just right, they sometimes too formal, sometimes it's like meet, translate, so, and the spoken part is, I can say about 75% to 80%, because it's Thai. I can show you later. Thai language, we don't have space between the words. So when it's when the AI speak, so they speak like continue. They don't have the and actually we don't have space between the word, but we have space some sentence. We need to stop and speak. Some AI that like keep talking, say no space between sentence. It makes sometimes misunderstand or not really flow. So yeah, and chosen accent in translate makes it easier to understand. Yeah. And translation maintain a good pace, improving the overall user experience. Some parts of translation content had difficult flow. I think flowing, so not really flow like Thai speaking, but it's fine. We understand that, so using AI made it hard to capture the way that I said Thai speak, the way Thai speak, so it's AI speak is not really it's not right, but as I it's okay to understand. So that's despite challenge, the translation was still clear for native Thai speaker. Yes, native speaker understand that they always use AI cause some loss authenticity, so in translate content, because that what I say that there are Thai is unique characteristic, so and like emphasize on intonation pose difficulty for AI translation. So as I about it, I think it's not too bad. So time to spend to correct, so that depends on how complicated of the content. So I think it's about 3 or 4 times of the length of video. So I need to make sure that when I translate, it's everything right, and you have to read, so, and then have to sometimes have to put space on after end of the sentence, and so make sure that AI can speak, like Thai, so this most we can do, so there's depend on how complex of the lesson. Some complex lesson can take like can be 5 times for the length of video, because they need to do read that, so sometimes it's a Peter translate that as a kind of miss sometime, so you need to think about that, how to use Thai, but it's a Thai what is not this word we don't use, what we can use better word to be more understand, so that's what we work with that. So a primary goal was to guarantee that the translated content was easily understandable for audience. So the Thai, we just meant that the Thai people have to understand what the video, what the lesson, So for the recommendation, as I don't really have, I think it have some, but as I can go to including, I think it's about 85% to youth, but it's we still encounter with issue with flow, intonation in language like Thai, emphasizing spoken, traditional. I think the same could be like Lao, because Lao and Thai language is pretty close. But I'm not sure Cambodia might be the same rules, might be have problem. It's not really different much. So another things recommend, I think that the best way to use, let's say, have to hybrid approach between combine in Thai, combine AI for heavy lifting and human input for nuance talk like dubbing. So I think the perfect. Then another thing that as we try to do is subtitle that we talk with Peter. It's if AI used for the subtitle seem like it's not work, because it's the Thai language is that I say is so the word is not have space, so they just like continue to write together, and then we use subtitle, they just cut that off. So when they cut it off, that meaning it just change, or we don't know that what the meaning, so that I think the subtitle now still need human to help us. So I'm going to show you this one. I think Peter showed you some lesson in Thai. So there's you can see this in Thai, it's no space, right? Come here, that's one, and then we have to stop in the sentence, and a little bit here when we talk, so the Thai language have to have tone. So I can say, for example, you say ma is mean come. So, but if you say ma, it mean dog, something like that, So, and they say it's flow with this one. I think that's challenge for the AI to do that too. So, and sometimes I leave this one like steam, So Thai says steam too. So I don't translate, I don't write in Thai. So like this, LED like this. So why have to put the hyphenate in that? Because it's like if I put together, the AI will say let. So Thai people don't say let with the LED. So yeah, like it, So that's why we need to have trick in that to make it easy to Peter to make the Thai spoke for AI. So yes, and this one we have camp, coding camp, like we like Peter lesson, so STEAM lesson, and we adapt, apply for or lesson for the kid. So 8 to 13-year-old kid, you see, so they're so happy and they work and they have project to work on the robot, they do something coding, so they happy, parent happy. So we think that is a so meaningful learning. So another thing is about why I like to work to translate in Peter listen with the AI, So he already translate in Thai, but I just correct and like put something to make more correct, right? And another thing is very interesting is the lesson is very basic. So come start from basic. Don't have, you don't need to have the electronic skill or science skill. Everyone can do that. Everyone can code. So that's why we try to talk to my teacher. But actually, I have a teacher in school network. Science teacher in Thailand, I think now they work now. They don't really know how to code. They don't know how to what you call that, teach students. Even computer teacher don't know how to code. So that we try to let them come to learn with us. Like Ronnie, he have to support a computer class in the school. So we let teacher come to learn how to code. At least that they can teach the student to code, and they will know that it's next future. It's very important to work with coding. You know how to code. Everyone here will know how to code. Just learn from this lesson, and very easy, very simple. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very interesting to learn about artificial intelligence. And it's really practical, and to have these insights about your key recommendations and also your lessons learned and the good and the bad and the magnificent. So really interesting. Are there any questions from the audience? I will check in the chat box. There was one question from Lauren from PVOB about the language, but he already got the answer when you were scrolling in the different languages, Peter. We saw that the Kinyarwanda was one of the languages. Would it be possible? Okay, Lauren, he has another question. Would it be possible to show a video that has been dubbed? Is that possible?
Yes, if you give me a second, then I will share a video with you. You can go to the, let me have a look here.
Peter, sorry to interrupt, but if you would like to share a video, you certainly need to click on share sound as well. It's
okay,
a little
good
box that you need to click on.
Let's see if it works.
Are there any other burning questions in the audience? While Peter is searching how to share the video.
Yeah, I just have to go to YouTube, so that's
take your time.
Hello, can I ask a question, please? Or should I put it in my chat?
Oh, go ahead. You have the floor now, so go ahead.
Okay. I was going to ask about copywriting. So is there is this something that would be allowable, or is copyrights in the picture? This was a question from the Ministry of Education in Palestine.
Okay, so it's a question about the copywriting. Do you know anything about that, Peter or Dr. Choojit?
Well, the videos itself have been created by us. So so all the texts and everything is created by us. So the copyright is with us. So that's definitely not an issue. So we are not working, or we're not taking information or texts or videos from somebody else and put it in through the translation exit. So we really start from absolute scratch with the creation of the videos, and then all of the translations are being done. I don't think because we hold the intellectual property, you also hold the translation property. And I think, but I'm not 100% sure, that somewhere in the terms and conditions of Simon Says, it also stipulates that that they are not the owner all of a sudden of the copyright. So the copyright remains with the creator of the original content.
Okay, Peter, thank you.
In the meantime, I can share my screen. So as you can see, this is one of the This is the first lesson in Thai. So it's on, as you can see, it's on the, just type in EdukoMondo, and then you will get to all of our playlists. So we have playlists. This is the one from Thai. I have a playlist for French, of course, from English, and I also have the one from Khmer. Khmer is subtitled, so it's not dubbing. Now I will try to share it with you, and I know that Lisa said that we have to be careful that I have to stop but maybe I can do this with my voice here. So I don't know.
Peter?
Yeah, Peter, it's me
Yes.
again. If you would like to share a video with sound, you have to click on share screen, of course, and then you will see the box with all the options. You know what I mean? And on the left below, there you need to click on share sound. So you have to stop sharing and share it again. By first clicking on share sound and then by selecting your YouTube app. Technology is not easy. I hope it. Otherwise, I can try to see.
Computer audio and video.
Yeah, weet je. Peter, do you want to let Lisa share the video?
Oh yeah, if you can do it, that maybe will be easier.
In the meantime, we can maybe answer the question from Bart Horemans. Bart, do you want to ask your question live?
Yeah, it's a simple question actually. It's just to, I mean, I know AI, I've been testing it and it gives you very, very nice results, but it's not as good as it would be done by a real professional, so far as I can see, but it's getting very, very close to it. So are there any other reasons why you would opt for AI than the obvious reason of costs, you say, or, I mean, of course, this is a trade-off. It's 10 times cheaper, so that's an argument in itself. But are there other arguments you would say you would give as well?
Yes, I think the other argument that I've also mentioned is the speed. If you would do it with people, real people, then you will add up really hours. You have to control it. There will also be mistakes, certainly when you are in a very technical environment. They will also make certain mistakes. And my experience with working with people who are actually going to do the translations or do the dubbing is that it increases the time that you need for it. So it is a trade-off. I agree. But for me, it's like the trade-off is in the favor of the AI because you can reach so many more people, and not everybody has the bandwidth or the money to do it. If you want the perfect world, you're absolutely right. Then humans are still doing a lot better. And actually, in the next series of videos that we are going to do in terms of the MicroPython, together with Dr. Chu, we are going to explore the hybrid model that she also mentioned. So to see what we said, the heavy lifting is the translation, but then have a student, for instance, from her department, who is a native, but also who knows the technology to do that. But I have to say, the Simon Says is definitely not 100% the best to have all the intonations. I have heard now some of the new artificial intelligence spoken platforms that are a lot better. I don't know how good they are in Thai or in Lao or in Bengali or so, but it's definitely getting better. But for me, it's speed is the other thing, and that's it's a lot easier to do it. Otherwise, there's a lot of time that you have to do to arrange everything, and so on. So that's for me the main issue.
Great, thanks.
Okay, Peter, Liz is going to share the video.
Yes.
สวัสดีครับผมชื่อปีเตอร์จาก EdukoMondo ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่บทเรียนนี้เป็นบทเรียนให้คำแนะนำที่เป็นประโยชน์และเคล็ดลับเพื่อเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพการใช้งานในห้องเรียน STEAM ของท่าน STEAM ย่อมาจาก Science เทคโนโลยี Engineering Art และ Math ชุดบทเรียนนี้จะทำขึ้นเพื่อช่วยผู้สอนสตรีมที่เพิ่งเริ่มต้นไม่จำเป็นต้องมีความรู้ด้านการเขียนโปรแกรมหรืออุปกรณ์อิเล็กทรอนิกส์มาก่อน เราเรียกระดับนี้ว่าระดับนักสำรวจ เราตัดสินใจสร้างชุดบทเรียนนี้ เนื่องจากมีหลักสูตร Arduino เพียงไม่กี่หลักสูตรที่พร้อมสำหรับผู้สอนสตรีมในระดับเริ่มต้น ซึ่งเอกลักษณ์เฉพาะของบทเรียนเหล่านี้คือการพากย์เสียงและคำบรรยาย
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, can I add a little bit comment? I think
Yeah,
this,
sure. Go
yeah,
ahead.
this one is a basic, right, Peter? It's like perfect, like 95%, you know, so they not too complicated. So when the AI speak, it's very perfect. But it's now we sharing with do a subtitle, you know, Thai, you know, so that's when if we want to do, I think that it's better to use human to use subtitle now. Yep. Yep.
Yes, the big challenge is as I mean, for me, the Thai language or the Bengali language or Hindi or Lao, it's just a string of characters, right? So there's no way that I have any link or touch point between what is spoken and what I see in the subtitles. So we tried the subtitles in Thai and synchronized the subtitles with the video, with the spoken text, and it was a nightmare. And so that's why we said we need somebody who really, like what Dr. Chu explained, if you cut the word somewhere in between, and it's all one big string of things, because there's no hyphenation or punctuation in the Thai language. So for me, it's impossible to do. So you need to go absolutely to somebody. But then the subtitles is done. The subtitling is done in post-production. So you need somebody who knows how to use a sub or a post-production environment, a video environment. And then you end up again in, of course, manual work to do so. So this is where you bump and you reach really the limits of the current state of the artificial intelligence tools. And it's across the line. It's also with the others. So, but it shouldn't stop us to do that. It's like what Dr. Chu also said, even if it's 95%, your reach is a lot higher than not doing it. And certainly, I think with organizations who have a lot of content, certainly video content, I'm talking just Red Cross, for instance, large organization, or Handicap International with a lot of training videos on all kinds of subjects. Not all of them very highly technical, because I think there's also a difference between the level of the technicality. They will have really good results by doing it. Is it perfect? No. Is it really good? Yes. And is it usable? Yes. And I think that's what we need to do. And I think we should do it, because the disadvantages do not outweigh the advantages of reaching a lot more people in their local language.
Okay, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Dr. Choojit. It seems to be a nice conclusion, Peter, that we should try and get on. And there's still a lot to say about AI, and we will continue our sessions, Connect and Learn, about this topic, because everyone is talking about it, but we need some practical info. And I think both of you gave this practical and very useful information during this session. So I want to thank you both for this. And thanks also to all our participants. If there are still remaining questions, you can reach out via info@educate.be, and we will send the questions to Peter or Dr. Choojit for the answers. Thank you. Really, thank you both to you. I wish you all the best for the future activities. And the session has been recorded, and the recording and the PowerPoint presentations will be on our website, www.educate.be, very soon. So I wish you a nice evening. I wish you a nice afternoon, a nice day, and hope to see you at one of the next Educate conferences, events in the next year. And I wish you also the best for this end year's Eve period, and I wish you a very happy New Year. Thank you for being there with us.